then there is a division where you can fish with the scope or, without the scope, whatever you want to do.
For the bonus segment this week, I wanted to talk about this Wired to Fish article that you teased at the top of the show. The title is The Forward-Facing Sonar Showdown: How Pro Rules Will Reshape Smaller Tournaments. Tell us what you think about this, Dave.
Well, I think to give a full opinion on this, we need to let the listeners know who aren't familiar with the current rules of let's say, the big three tournament organizations. We'll kind of go with a quick rundown of that. National Professional Fishing League allows no forward-facing sonar at any time. Bassmaster Elite Series will do a split hybrid version. Well, there will be a tournament with forward-facing sonar, a tournament without forward-facing sonar. Of course, they came to this conclusion of which events will be which in their coin flip show that they had, which ended up being really cool. I think that's a great concept they have there. The Bass Pro Tour last year had the one period with forward-facing sonar, 2 periods without. The rules will be the same. I think that worked very well for them. And the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit had 1 day on, 1 day off. I believe they are sticking with that, and then having the championship day with the forward-facing sonar. I believe that's what they're sticking with for 2026 as well. So with all that being said, where do the local tournaments, the regional tournaments, the things that, anglers like you and I and your average weekend warriors like to fish, where does that stand? Well, right now that is kind of up in the air. There's a recent announcement from Major League Fishing about the BFLs, very popular kind of grassroots tournament series where they are saying that you can only use forward-facing sonar and 360 for 3 consecutive hours during the day. They have yet to put out any information on exactly how is that going to work. So that one's still a work in progress here. I can tell you from a personal standpoint, I fish the South Carolina Bass Nation Tournament Trail pretty regularly. The South Carolina Bass Nation Tournament Trail tries to adopt all of the rules of the Elite Series simply because it is a path to the Bassmaster Classic. They try to stay pretty strictly along the areas and rules that the higher tier tournaments like the Elite Series for bass employ, but it is up to the different states. They can do what they want. With bass changing to every other tournament with forward-facing sonar, I do know that here in South Carolina, the Bass Nation is not going to do that. There's no way that they feel like on their level that they can implement that properly, whether it be, via the co-angler or lock boxes or whatever the case is. It's just too much trouble. So they are going to stick with the one forward-facing sonar transducer rule with the screen size limitations, and that's going to be that for that organization. I have also noticed that a lot of the local team trails throughout the state of South Carolina have implemented no scope divisions. So instead of trying to change things up during the day, they're just having a whole nother division for people who want to fish without a scope, and then there is a division where you can fish with the scope or without the scope, whatever you want to do. So that's kind of what I've seen so far. I know that a lot of these organizations had votes and were kind of thinking that people would vote to get away from the scope. That wasn't the case. I think the feedback, even some of your older anglers, veteran anglers who were against the scope to begin with, are starting to incorporate the scope into their fishing. They're learning it a little bit more, and they're understanding that it can also be an advantage to them given some of their historical knowledge of fisheries, old spots, things of that nature. They know the areas the fish live in. They just got to figure out how to utilize that scope in the areas. So as far as I know, that is how things are trickling down. I think you're going to see a lot more scope and no scope divisions in local tournaments.
If you want more behind-the-scenes bass fishing info in your inbox every week, sign up for the Best on Tour newsletter at bestontour.net. It's completely free. It drops every Thursday morning. There's a link in the description, as well as the links that we mentioned in this episode. They're all in there. Go check those out. Please like and subscribe. Drop a comment with your questions or suggestions. And that's it for this week. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching or listening. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Dave.
See you guys next time.
Thanks for watching or listening. See you on the next one. The best on tour breakdown.